Hi, my name is Corey Mentor, and I'm the president of Trinity Employment Specialists. Trinity, we are a staffing firm located in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we provide nurses for travel nursing contracts literally all over the nation. And this particular podcast or videocast is to try to get people in the mindset, especially our nurses, on what is it like to be an A player? How do you notice an A player? Because you always want to partner with the right people. And what I mean by an A player is, probably Steve Jobs coined this phrase. He said it in an article or a piece that he wrote. He said, A players will literally run circles around B and C level players. And what he thought that what he could do with a small team of A players, B and C players, you could have a giant team of them and they would still never compete with your A players. Then following that, you had a book called Top Grading. And Top Grading began to coin this phrase even more, but they started showing a process at how you would go through the interview and begin to understand this is an A player. But for Trinity, I'm not Steve Jobs and I don't have all the accolades there, but I do have around 11 years of experience managing people in multiple companies. And I began to understand a little bit more about what is an A player. I've noticed that A players, they stay longer in your organization generally. They do 1.5 times the work of your B and C level players, and that is so true. And then also, they begin to recruit other A players into your organization. The reason is they can't stand to work with B and C level players. It literally drives them nuts. And when you begin to gain a team of A players, it'll become very evident to you because your A players will begin to basically kick your B and C level players out of the company. Like your B and C level players, they won't be able to take the pressure that the A players will give them. A great example, I've started watching just recently, I can't remember the exact name of it, but it's a Michael Jordan documentary series that's been on ESPN. It's just coming out. If you're watching this later, this is just coming out. And I can't remember the name of it right now. But basically, all of these players are talking about what it was like to play with Michael Jordan whenever his desire was to win a championship. And especially Scottie Pippen, who was basically very instrumental. Scottie Pippen was very clear in saying, listen, I would have never become the player that I was had I not been around Michael Jordan because he was completely intolerant of me not giving it my all. And so he raised this group of B players and raised them into A players all around him only because he was not going to tolerate that. A players in your organization, they're going to do the very same thing. I've had it happen in my organization where I'm telling you, I hate to say it because I feel like we've got a pretty good culture, but they become so intolerant, they just get them out type of an attitude. They can't stand it. So I've talked enough about this. I've got 5 things here that I think can help you as a manager begin to understand what A players are. And then if you're an employee and you have the desire to become an A player, ask yourself these things. Do I portray these whenever I'm working? It's very important for you to ask yourself this. First thing is, A players own both good and bad outcomes. B players have a laundry list of excuses on why they didn't get things done. So, and you need to think about this as a manager, or if you're an employee, think about this as an employee. Your A players, if something goes wrong, they instantaneously say, yep, that was wrong. We've got to correct it this isn't working. My A players, they are going to go and immediately say, this didn't work. This didn't work. It's on me. But don't worry, I'm going to fix it. And they're coming to me with this as their manager. They're like, listen, I tried this. This didn't work. I'm going to try this now. Are you in agreement with that? And they're never concerned to come to me with these things. My B and C level players, I don't have any C players, but I've got some B plus players on my team. They're going to be a lot more quiet when failures happen. Okay? A lot of times it's my A players pointing it out. But your B and C level players, listen, man, they're going to have a list of excuses, especially your C players. They're going to be like, well, it was this and that and the other. They're not trying to solve the problem. They're truly leaning on the excuse. Well, this didn't work. For recruiting, when I've had B and C level players on my team before, a lot of times when they're recruiting, they're like, well, I posted an ad and it's just, people aren't looking right now. It's the economy. The economy, we just came out of a really high level economy before this COVID thing happened. And there's, most people are employed. The unemployment rate's really, really low. All right, my A players are like, listen, it's really, really difficult, and I'm not getting what I want out of an ad, but I'm going to go in the background. I'm going to go and find some people. And then when that doesn't work, they're like, all right, I'm going to go and call all of my employees and send them a thing. Would you mind to offer a bonus for anyone that is, yeah, no problem. Okay, I'm going to send this out and start getting referrals. Or I'm just going to go through all my employees, call them and ask for referrals. I'm telling you, this is what they do. I'm not asking them to do this. They are completely uncomfortable with not performing. And I'm not driving this. You need to know this if you're a manager. I'm not driving it. They're coming to me, driving me. I've got an A player that's a salesperson. Plumner wears me out because she's like, Corey, did you get that contract over yet? I'm having to negotiate this crazy contract. Did you get that over yet? Did you get that? Hey, we need to get that over today. This is what A players do. They'll wear you out as a manager, but it's not complaining and criticizing and condemning things and coming up with the excuses. They are literally driving the process, and you can't hardly keep up with them as a manager. I'm telling you, this is the way it is. All right, number 2. A players try something new or different to correct their course. B players stick to their comfort zone. I jumped ahead of myself. I'm sorry. I've already talked about this a little bit. But your A players, man, they are going to fix something. Your B players, it's going to be like what I said earlier. Well, the unemployment rate is low. I tried an ad. They're not coming in through the ads. And so, I guess we're going to have to wait. And I'm telling you, I've managed really poor teams because it was my fault. I was the manager. I didn't know how to push progress. And I believed all of these excuses myself. And it wasn't until I began to develop a team of A players where I saw they were completely uncomfortable with not performing, and they were going to figure out a way. Number 3, A players excite and motivate the people around them, and B players need motivation. So your A players are going to drive the situation. If people aren't performing, or if people on their team are having a bad day or week or month or whatever it is, my A players are pushing them all the time. But it's not that they're pushing them up the hill. They're literally pulling them up with them. It's a complete different model. You should notice this in your A players. And you need to build a team and a culture of A players. But you got to know what an A player is. That's what this is for. Number 4. Last thing here. I said 5. It's not. It's 5. It's 4. A players work to understand the ins and outs of your business, and B players know just enough to get the job done. You're going to start noticing your A players early on, And you can see potential of A players when they begin to start asking you all these details about why. You tell them, hey, we need to go do this. Well, why? Help me to understand that. And they begin to understand the entire process. And slowly they gain more and more knowledge, and they become more and more of an expert because they're asking all these questions. They don't just want to know what to do. They want to know why they're doing it, and then they're incorporating it, and they're using their mind to make it better than you did. A players make such a big difference in your company. I hope that this helps you to help to identify them. Give Trinity a call if you need help finding A players. That's what we do. You can call us at 918-622-2588, or you can visit us online at trinityemployment.com.